Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Major Talk. This is a Levels podcast where we talk to students, faculty, and learn more about the Dianza community, what the students do, their majors, their discipline, their field of study. So today with me, I have Katia Bravo, who is the chairman of the SRE committee in student government. So, Katia, how are you?
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm doing pretty well. I'm enjoying the rain outside.
In this episode, I'm going to talk to Katia about her experience running in the student election, running the committee for SRE, and her future plans when it comes to SRE and the future itself. So, Katia, again, welcome. Yeah, can you firstly give us a little explanation about the Dianza student government, the structure of your committee, what your committee does?
Yeah, so the anti-student government, the whole purpose is to be like a bridge between the students and the faculty, so to advocate for different services and the needs and wants of the students. And so for the Student Rights and Equity Committee, the committee I chair, basically we meet every week like every other committee within the student government, and we work on projects that have to do with helping out a certain demographic of students and or surveying students. So for example, one big event that we host is the resource fair. So I'm sure many of you have gone to it. It's the fair where all of the different programs and resources on campus gather together, whether it be mental health services, food services, or like anything that has to do with being a student and just being able to, I guess, thrive as a student. You will find those programs there. And so we're the ones that kind of organize that. And then another thing or another initiative I'm trying to work on within the Student Rights and Equity Committee is changing the bylaws for the program representatives. So currently there are three program liaisons
Mm.
from different programs on campus that help disproportionately impacted students. So unlike, let's say, mental health services, who helps all those with mental health, these programs that have these liaison positions are those that come that directly work with students who have access to fewer resources than others. So these are programs like HEFAS, VITA, and Umoja that help with different students like that. So currently, the bylaws are pretty, let's say, vague about these program representatives. And so basically, they used to be called advocacy liaisons.
Right.
And so we currently have three, but for the upcoming
Mm.
election or the new year, we are planning to get more. So we're in our final stages, and you can look to see the presentation soon in Senate.
This is something that I've been seeing in the SRE meetings being discussed a lot, all of the liaisons that will be represented, of course. So I will get into that. But of course, before that, I wanted to kind of talk to you about your sort of journey becoming a student government chairman. That's like a big thing, having to lead so many students who are under you, the senators, of course, and the interns. So could you tell us about how you sort of ran into the student government, how you were interested in it, what caught your attention, just how you got into this?
Yeah. So I actually heard of the student government and I knew a lot of people. I was part of Ultimate Frisbee Club early on. And so a lot of people in there were also senators.
But I thought this was something after it. Okay, so
So,
a lot of the senators are in this club, which is really funny. And you guys were knew each other before that
yeah.
in the club.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there were a lot of previous senators who also run the Ultimate Frisbee Club. And now currently there's a lot of senators that play Ultimate Frisbee. So yeah, so I mean that's how I was first exposed to it. But I actually never was an intern
Hmm.
like many of the other people who ran. I knew about it, but I was not particularly interested. I mean, I did um adjacent work in my high school. I was part of the student rights or the equity task force, which was like didn't run like the student government, but was like kind of adjacent to it. And so, when elections came around and I heard about election info sessions, I was like, shoot, I didn't know you didn't have to be a part of it. And I was really on the fence about whether I should run. I was like, yeah,
I
it was kind of like a big thing for me, and at the end of the day, I'm like, "You know what? I should just go for it. I miss doing this type of work. It could be helpful and in connecting the student body." So I guess that was my biggest thing,
mm,
is that despite like not being in student government, I wanted to make sure that more information was accessible to all students and
Hmm.
have access to be able to thrive in a community college
The
like I was able to.
I would say the student government provides a really good platform for anyone who does want to connect to a lot of students to through resources on campus, especially if you're in committees like ES, SRE. These committees always try to bridge the gap, as you say, between students and the resources that are available. So that's super cool. And I want to learn more about kind of the process that was for you when you had to run for the elections. A lot of students are anticipating the elections coming out. So how was your experience like during elections?
I'd say it was pretty stress free. Once again, I was pretty involved in campus through clubs like RAI Club. So I am and still currently am the president. Then also an officer for Ultimate Frisbee. I tutor at the Mesa Center, and I guess through those different realms of connections, I've got to know a lot of different people
Hmm.
and connect with both academics and student life. And so for me, I once again because I was so like I kinda just went for it, said thought, "Why not? If I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't." I I made my campaign poster, I think it was on the first day of campaigning.
Great.
So, unlike the other people who, woke up at 6 a.m. and started campaigning, I was like, "Oh, I might be the idea to make a poster."
Everyone has a different
Also
story, it seems.
Yeah, so I'm like, "Okay, I guess I'll just make one." And so I made one. I think my theming was pretty strong. Yeah, but I think it's really just because I worked with a lot of different
Great.
people and also during the interview section
Mhm.
of the elections with the different Q&A, I did prepare a little bit and I think I my answers were
Are you talking
stood out.
about the debate section?
Yeah, it's not
Okay.
quite a debate.
Yeah.
So for chairs, it's just like you answer questions, which is why I'm calling it an interview.
Mhm.
But I think what my answers stood out to the other senators who were there. So I think that platform gives you access to the current DHG people
Okay.
who are obviously going to vote. And so despite them not knowing me, I think they saw my background and I guess my passion for this type of stuff. And
Mm.
so yeah, and then I did my interview and here we are.
Here you are.
We made it, I guess.
So, what are some of your highlights of your tenure as an SRE chair? I've attended various meetings and I see like the dedication, the passion that you go about when you chair these meetings. So, what is your highlight of your DSG experience?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think working with interns and hearing them come up with different great ideas about ways to increase, let's say, marketing or just like knowledge of certain resources.
Mm-hmm.
I think seeing, I guess, like the gears turn as far as what type of impact people can have on the school is definitely amazing to see. And that's just during SRE meetings. But I think more like outside or like during Senate, I think the process of creating these obviously liaison positions has been really insightful and rewarding for me, even though it wasn't as quick as I anticipated it. I wanted to make sure it was done by like mid fall. I learned that equity work has to be thoughtful and that communication between different programs is the biggest thing possible. And so actually I've been working a lot with Adriana Garcia, who is or actually I'm not sure if that's her last name, but from the Office of Equity. And so she's been a great mentor and guide for making sure that when we do implement these new bylaws, we're not doing it in haste
Great.
and that we're taking into account the different, I guess, side effects that a a new senator added will be, making to different.
Very true. That's a lot of the questions that I wanted to ask you, you have covered. And I'm really happy with the insights that you've given to the audience today. The most important thing today that I want to ask you is now that the elections are coming up, what kind of advice or message do you want to give to both voters and candidates?
Yeah, so I guess I'll start with candidates. I know now the election or, like, the application for the election is over. I think once again, knowing, what your goals are for a certain position are gonna be really helpful. And so I guess that also applies for candidates. When you are campaigning, it's really good to have clear goals, at least on your campaign posters. But also, I guess I did do in-person campaigning as well in whatever classes I was. I didn't go to like classroom to classroom like as much as a lot of other people did,
Right.
but I did kind of have clear goals, and I think I was able to communicate
Right.
campaign pretty well. Yeah. And then for voters, I would say I know that the description for each candidate can seem long, but it's worthwhile to either reach out to them or just read through and like see what type of things you would want to see changed in Pienza, and just vote for whoever you think best aligns. Even if you're not super sure, I think those paragraphs that are underneath the nayers should be able to give you a good gauge
Mm,
of who the person is. But yeah, I mean, you can also just vote for like you don't if you completely don't know about let's
right.
say chair of programs, you're like, okay, I really don't know. I'm like an introvert person. Events isn't really a thing that I have to worry about. And you don't have to vote for them. But if you can at least vote for something, I highly
Yeah.
recommend doing that.
I would also recommend because I have read up, I've been talking to people as well on my own side that in these elections, there's an opportunity to vote again and again. In the last election, you could only vote once.
Correct. Well, you can change your vote.
Yeah. But I would definitely recommend that just voting should be a serious action. You shouldn't just keep on voting for random people. Take your time, go through the people, and make a definite vote. Okay, do your decision making with clarity, and don't be influenced easily. Take your time and make your choice wisely. So that's kind of my thoughts on this as well. So yeah, Katia, thank you so much. You took the time out of your day to come here, talk to us. And I'm pretty sure everyone who's going to listen to this will find these insights really valuable. So thank you.
Of course. Thank you for having me, and good luck to the candidates who are running. I know it could be stressful with all this new information is getting thrown at you, especially if you're not in DSG. But yeah, stick with what you know and you'll be okay.
Okay. This is Atharva Salkar, and yeah, bye bye.
Bye.